I can't believe I sold that much render. But, you know, remaining emotionally detached.
Yep.
It is what it is. It's a win. Ultimately, it's a win. That's what taking profits is. Taking
You
your
have to take
W.
profits.
Yeah, it's taking your wins. Instead of taking L's, you're taking a win, you know?
Yep.
So that's how you gotta look at it, you know, kind of want to take the ride up, it served its purpose. You feel me?
Yeah.
Was holding on to render since November when it was about like at max back in November, it was probably like under $2. My lowest entry price was $1.67. And
Uh,
just to see it at 12 in just a couple of months, it served its purpose. That money did a good job.
I'm glad. Yeah, I was talking to my sister about the charts that is going on, and I was saying, hey, I want to kind of show you what the roadmap going forward is going to be because this is going to be her first halving. So I'm
Okay.
like, all right, I've survived two halvings already. So this will be my third, and I think we this is the third. So it's kind of cool. Um, but as I was also explaining all these different things, I was also saying, I'm not just looking at Bitcoin, for example. My friend Angel and I were looking at Render, and so I was explaining earlier tonight, uh, just like the cool things about the Render network and how it's helping artists, and a lot of it I think is going to be used for like AAA type stuff. So like your movies and stuff like that, they're going to heavily utilize that network. And then, I was just telling her though, as I thought it was very fascinating that we've been in here, like you show me these coins, and usually most of the coins that you show me, I'm just like, ah, lame, lame, lame.
Mhm.
But this was like, ooh, this one's
Yeah.
interesting. And then another cool point. Wait, go ahead.
Yeah, this one's groundbreaking. This one's changing the game a little bit. It's useful. The way I see it,
Mhm.
like the whole business utility of it all. I see I'm like, okay, the establishment could use such a thing. You feel me? The renting
Yeah.
C GPUs and stuff. But I'm gonna get more into, you know, the fundamentals and how the value of the company rendered um in our next video to really I think that's how we get a more of a macro perspective of how far could this thing go, you know?
Yeah. Well, how
But
far?
yeah,
I don't know yet, but my we're gonna have an in-depth conversation tomorrow about this, but just for people to kind of just hear, for this market cycle, uh probably anywhere from 20 to 50. That's where we're gonna probably head towards. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be a ride, but
50 to 50. My G.
yeah, yeah.
Yo.
Um, I don't know how much the one guy that she had posted that said was like it's gonna go to 50, how much he's correct on. But at least
50.
I could see tw the trajectory for 20, and 50 is not too far out of the bounds. So
I gotta make sure I got more than what I rendered than what I got in there before that happens.
yeah. Well, speaking of which, um what has been your thought process since we've broken the all-time high? Like how's your emotions been? And
You know what? What I want to say, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that experienced this. We see the number and then we forget where we came from. It's like, oh man, well, it's not higher. But it's like, yo, you're looking at $12. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it was not. It was $1. It was $2 the other day. It's like after the third day. I mean, after the first week, it's kind of like you get ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? You kind of want more. You
yeah,
know, and yeah, and then once it drops more. I mean, right now I'm coming to realization. I see things as overheated, and I'm just wondering like, when is the drop? When should I sell everything to buy back in, to buy the dip? I mean, we see everybody selling things right now.
hmm,
JP Morgan selling. That's the buzz in the street right now. These big wigs is selling off everything. They're selling off to buy the dip. Uh, uh, so there's a whole macro perspective that I've been trying to gather and bring shape to, but
hmm.
I'm also concerned about the micro, the technical analysis and stuff like that, and this candle that you say you've been looking for.
Yes. So, um, the main reason first that I started the question was like, how is the emotions going? Is because a lot of times when you're charting, the whole thing is really just psychology on a chart. And a lot of times when people are getting greedy, it's starting to pump up, it's starting to pump up. And then the adage is that when others are greedy, that's when you need to be fearful. And when everybody's fearful, that's when you need to be greedy. And so there's usually going to be a reversal somewhere coming up. Things don't go up to infinity.
Right.
Um, so with that in mind, we broke the all-time high, and that's a lot of euphoria. And then we set up a new all-time high relatively fast. Like I would have thought we would have maybe crept or whatever, but we ended up going pretty decently. And so now it's like, okay, you're at this top part, and it can keep on going technically. Like I see 16 is relatively in the cards. It's an easy spot for it to go to. Everything else in my indicators are telling me though, we're not going to go to 16, not right now, at least. So cool off you're going to need. And in my opinion, I think because we move so fast, there needs to be a fast correction as well that matches that. My thing that I've always said to people is 70 to 90% of is a retracement. Like if you make a giant move up or a giant move down, you're roughly going to get 70 to 90% retraced if you just stick in instead of being so scared right away. Not always, but I think this is going to be one of those times. So I think there's a candle that I'm looking for called a well, I call it a bottom candle, which essentially just marks that it's a spot where everybody eventually like sells, but then the selling pressure, like if everybody just thinks that the thing is crap, right? It's just keep going down and down and down. But there's going to be some level or floor that simply says, okay, people are at least going to say the minimum value of this coin has to be this. Like we're no longer going to allow it to keep on going lower and lower and lower. And so in this candle, it happens relatively fast. It's usually a lot of stop losses that create this candle. And it's usually a small body, and it's a red candle, and then a large wick to the bottom. And that
Right.
large wick at the bottom is basically saying we're getting a lot of buyer momentum. So when you have a giant move up and then it goes a giant move down, or we're doing a correction phase, doesn't matter. But mostly this one's in corrections or breakouts. And this one, when it appears, it essentially marks the bottom of where you're going to sideways. So you have a top section. It's going to be roughly, I think, like I probably like to say that estimate the first leg or second leg of the structure at the top when it first forms. That's going to be your top section, and then that bottom candle is going to be your bottom. And so you trade within that range
Mm.
until it's ready to make another breakout.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to see what you mean with the giant red wick downwards and the small body. That indicates that, you know, it's dropping, but the bulls are like, hell no, it's not dropping down that low. It's like catching it right,
Yeah.
right before it hit the floor. So would you say at the tip of that wick is the support?
No, because I've seen it's hard for me to necessarily like place it. What I do is I would just say the structure, the way that you look at it, you zoom out and look at it, and then just kind of go to 70 to 90% and look at that range, those ranges, and just see which one seems the most logical. If you do it directly from the candle, I have seen it where like you'll have a giant, you'll have the small little red body and a giant red wick, right? And then the next candle that prints is a relatively decent large red candle that starts covering the span of that wick. And
Mm-hmm.
so it might keep on going lower. But what that candle just represents in general is that moving forward relatively who's let's say anywhere from like hours to days, depending on what time frame you're looking at when you see this,
Mm-hmm.
um, is going to be when you start seeing a upwards momentum. So it might do a what's called a V bottom. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't necessarily place some like where your entries will be on that candle. It's you're more or less an indication that hey, this is about done.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. Um, yeah, I still go off of small indicators. I still go off of the Fibonacci, and lately the RSI has been helping tremendously.
Yeah,
Um,
with the RSI, I switched it up on you because I told you, it's like, hey, look, this is just mostly look at for the bullish or bearish momentum, and then I said, now we're not even going to pay attention to the bullish or bearish momentum. We're looking at trend. That is better.
trend.
Yeah.
You
So
know the
when I said that the two lines for the RSI cross,
mhm. Right,
that's starting for a reversal trend,
right, and
especially on the 4 hour chart.
yeah, I've been mostly on the 4 hour, and what I'll do is I check all. I check the 1 hour, I check the 4 hour, I check, but I'm mostly on the 4 hour. But obviously the 1 hour chart kind of like indicates the beginner moves when it goes down, sort of like
Yeah.
if the moving average crosses the yellow line, I don't know, I go by lines. So if the purple line crosses the yellow line going upwards, then it indicates bull, you know, it's a bullish move. When it's going downwards, it's a bearish move. And so far from what I see, like right now, as we at the moment of this recording, I think right now what I seen was the 4 hour chart, and there's a lot of room for the moving average to meet up with the what's that? What's the other line if it's not the moving average?
Uh, um,
Momentum? What's the other line? There's two lines that I see.
I I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what they're used for. I don't use the lines for whatever they were intended for. I just learned about the crossover thing,
Yeah.
and
There's
then
the two lines
and
that
then
cross over. You know,
yeah,
like on my chart it's purple and it's yellow.
yellow, yeah,
Yeah.
and then
And the
the
purple line moves faster than the yellow line.
yeah, and I
So
th believe I don't know how to gauge it right now. Which one I would pick right now for the RSI number, but. I'd like to say, it's a 70 and 30 are your main lines, and it's going to naturally want to go from 70 to 30 or 30 to 70. And then during your extreme points of time, if it's near 70, it's going to want to go towards 90 to 100. And during your scary times of a bear thing, then it's going to want to go from 30 down to zero.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah,
in
and I
your
seen
extreme scary times.
yeah, and I seen it. I seen it. It's done that. It's went below. It's broke that line before below. Right now everything's overheated. So it could use a cool off. The monthly is overheated. The daily is overheated. Everything's in the 70 type range. So
Yeah.
I understand that it could use a cool off. It's just you know, when I look at the Fibonacci, it's like it almost seemed unrealistic. Even when you send me those numbers about $3 to $5, I laugh because it's like that's like everything's taken away. We're at 12 right now. It's kind of like
The
it's
crypto
kind of like
god cometh, the crypto god taketh.
right. you know, it's like damn, you know what I'm saying? Like how I don't know, and then my mind starts like familiarizing the structure, and it's like that structure doesn't look right, you know. But
Yeah.
who knows how big this structure, small we're looking at this thing,
Yeah.
So I know we haven't really zoomed out yet.
No.
You feel me? We'll save that for the next episode, though.
No.
Zooming out.
I started doing a little bit of I added a total of three support and resistant lines based off of after that we broken out. And so my guess is the probable range is 950 to 712.
That's what I was saying. I was saying a nice 958 or something. I thought that was a nice number. And then you came through like 3 to 5. I'm like, what?
Well, yeah, yeah. That's really if Bitcoin shits the bed, like
There's
right
a whole
now.
there's a whole there's a lot to cover. You feel
Yeah.
me? There's a lot because
Right.
Bitcoin is
Go ahead.
for Bitcoin is due for a correction. Um, you got the halving coming up. I'm not sure. I'm I'm not sure if this is my first halving. I've been in the game since 20. I've been in the game since 2017, but like really active 2020. Is this my first halving?
I think so. Wait, what when did you say you got in?
I've been fully active. I've owned XRP since 2017, but I've been fully
Yeah.
active
Yeah, because I
in the
think
team.
2016 was the second halving.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Um,
But when you first entered, how was the market? Was it lit? Was it scary?
it was foolish. People, everybody was calling it stupid. Everybody was calling
But do you
it
remember
was
those
a scam.
times?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a scam. It was a fad. It was yeah, people look at me like I lost credibility for holding it. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, the atmosphere was if you didn't believe in yourself, you wasn't gonna hold on to nothing because everybody was trying to take the beliefs from you. You know?
Yeah. And they're gonna be doing that real soon too. They're gonna I don't know where we're I mean it's gonna be fun, right? That's all I can say. It's gonna be
It's gonna
fun,
be
right?
that's my whole macro perspective of the game right now, of the crypto market. It's gonna be like the Superman roller coaster in Six Flags. I'm talking like a dip real fast, then popping right back up,
Well,
and then doing a little twirl around.
we did just leave the Shemitah year. So let the games begin for a new cycle.
It's a whole 100K. BTC at least.
My rough estimate right now is 110 to 180.
It's right now at 60.
70.
That's a big run up.
Yep.
That's that's a
I
that's
think I'm wondering if
double.
I'm wondering if we go to 90K around the halving. So with like that
That's what
whole
I'm saying. Like, you would know best, and I want to in our next episode, our next video, I want to talk more on that, like how this thing behaves during
I
the
don't
halving.
I thought I do. And then everybody is sitting right now going, it's different. It's different. And the only thing that's helping me right now is the thing that I told you, like, I don't really like I really do like the esoteric stuff. But to me, I'm much more of a technical guy than like going where I'm gonna look at the skies. Now I'm sitting here going, wait a second, maybe I should pay more attention to the skies.
A word? That's what you feeling now?
Well, so like with Waters doing all his things and his things, he's just more or less chatting with you. And so like I get it in conversation, right? But then for me to physically go research the data up, look up when these events happened, place it on a chart, what did the chart actually show me? And I'm like, this is interesting. It's been following the lunar and solar cycles since the beginning of Bitcoin. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, hmm. So so this halving has the solar eclipse coming up with it. And as far as I can understand, the solar eclipses are going to be more bullish events. And so with people saying, hey, we've hit the all-time high for the first time before the halving. When people say, oh, the ETF stuff happened. When people say um, like I'm just personally thinking 90K we go up to at the halving. Like I don't know why, but like my gut is saying that's where we're at. Even though logistically speaking, every halving has actually had a dip.
That's what I'm saying. I think it has to be a stupid dip real quick. You know what I'm saying? I think
Well,
it has to be.
I think the dip starts relatively soon, and it will be for the next couple weeks, and then the week before the halving, or a couple weeks before the halving, or actually I should say, a couple weeks before, or a week to a couple weeks before the eclipse. I think that's more important than the halving.
You know,
That
it's the same buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing we got factor that we got to consider. There's a
Well,
whole
see,
bunch of people.
that's the traditional path. Like when I think of the halving, I think buy the news or buy the rumor, sell the news. So every halving has been that way, where the media hypes it up, and then
Mhm.
when they hype it up, and then the halving happens, it crashes every single time. Now, when I looked at it historically on the chart, the crashes aren't severe, but dumb people who are all in the hype feel like it's the end of the world.
Right.
But I think this cycle it's going to be opposite.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but I think it's going to be the opposite, and it's going to catch a lot of people off guard, even me, because I'm sitting here going, this can't not be. It should
All
be
right.
doing what it usually
You
does.
know, all right. You're micro and I'm macro. Like, you know, I'm gonna come through with some macro perspective, some political, some politics, and some black swan events. You know what I'm saying? Some some black swan event ideas. You
Yeah.
know, bring some things out, bring the bingo card out. You know, um, there's a lot of political stuff. I feel like they could something could happen that could try to ruin the confidence of Bitcoin and shake out the ones that you just spoke of, the people that you know that doesn't really have full confidence in this in Bitcoin. To me, and I'm not trying to throw shade or anything like that, but to me, if you don't know the full origin of what you're holding, you don't have full confidence. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So I feel
Gotta
like you
gotta
might
do
want
the
to.
do your own research
Right,
and research well.
right. A lot of people are in blind faith right now, and they're confident in blind faith, you know, and they swear by it. If everybody is doing one thing, everybody swears by. Look, I promise you, everybody's not going to get rich out of this motherfucking having. And the sentiment is almost like everybody's expecting to get rich out of this shit by just holding. Somebody got to lose. So I feel like we've been getting outages. We've been, we got war afoot. We got all kinds of crazy shit. We always got Tether. I would never forget Tether. Um, Something could happen that could ruin the credibility of Bitcoin. People start selling, and then it goes on another rail. Bitcoin goes on another rail, and I'm going off the rails right now. But it Bitcoin goes on another rail, and then it wasn't Bitcoin the problem. It was actually something else. And then, phew, that and whatever that is on, which could be, I don't know, maybe XRP. We also
Fingers.
have we, we also have that lawsuit going on in April. Um, yeah, there's supposed to be a finalization of the court situation with XRP and the SEC in April. There's a lot of things to consider at one time. This bank collapse that's supposed to, like, the Fed just put out um a memo saying that they're not giving out any more loans or something like that. So on a macro perspective, there could be a whole lot of things that could, cramp Bitcoin style. And for a moment, and then it takes back off. But I'm an altcoin investor, and I stopped buying Bitcoin at 68,000. Nah, yeah, I stopped buying. You know, I'm just no, I stopped buying at 60, 64, some shit like that. And I had an automatic buying thing from my bank to Bitcoin, but I just said pause on that because I feel like it's gonna crash. I still feel like it could go down to 49.
Yeah. Uh, we'll get more into what I think, but on just a top level conversation wise, I think 60 65K probably be the low for like the next wave if we do a dip or a correction.
You think
Uh,
if the dip that we're talking on, this correction that we're talking on, will only drop us down to 65?
um, to start with, if it's any extreme, then 55. I don't think it needs to go to 55. I think 65 is fine because that gives it enough breathing space to jump to 90. Uh, um, but
And then I'm still
55 is just if it wants to get that extra rubber band leg up. So if we see 55, then we're going to go probably to 90 a lot faster. If we stick at 65, then we'll slow crawl to 90.
right. A lot of people is not gonna like me, man, because I'm still not. I'm still a non-believer. I see what you're saying, and I respect it, but it's like there's still a part of me that got Dan Pena in my head, like
Wait till I show you the chart tomorrow. It's gonna be fun.
like okay, because like I hear all that, and I'm always 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because how could you be confident in something that we don't know nothing about?
Math.
They say the math, but what if Santa, Satoshi, just pop up with a whole new all kinds of stuff that could happen. But I
I
don't
think
know.
the I think the craziest, if we want to go to like super crazy paranoia land, is actually how some of the mathematics and encryption methods work. Or like a lot encryption is based off of math. So
Mhm.
if you have like the NSA who has some top people and they're like, we want to break this thing, they could slowly mess up the encryption by breaking the way that the math is done. And usually, one of the methods is just doing messing with the how random numbers are generated. And so a lot of times with these encryption things, it relies on random numbers. But if you
Mhm.
can set the random numbers to be more predictable than random, then you have easy access.
Without a doubt, bro. Without a doubt, that shit. They got that shit. Everybody's yo. When I be in these chats, bro, these people don't know nothing about Bitcoin. They feel like, oh, you know, it's untrackable. It can't be reversed. It can't be frozen. I'm like, y'all don't remember all of these events that happened that the it was the government was able to intervene because of some ransom shit or whatever. Like, there's been so many incidents that the government was able to have control of Bitcoin, and you know, uh, yeah, I mean, the shit came out in 2009 when Occupy Wall Street and when people was starting to ultimately become enlightened to the idea of leaving the banks. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We could save that conspiracy. We
Yeah.
could save that rabbit hole. But that's just me. I can't be fully invested into something that I don't know the owner of. I don't know how we making investments off of stuff we don't do the complete knowledge of. I mean, we know math, you know what I'm saying? Okay, there's a mathematical equation and stuff like that, but there's other elements to consider. There's other variables, and I'm not gonna act like I've done the math to Bitcoin. I
Yeah.
just see, you know, I see it from a logical perspective. I wouldn't put my last dollar in there. I put money in there just to make sure that I get some type of exposure, but I'll take that money and just go somewhere else. You feel me? Finding
Yeah.
somewhere that I feel more. There's no foundation. We don't know the foundation of it. And I don't want to turn this video to me throwing mad shade on Bitcoin, but there's no foundation. The foundation is a ghost, and it's just you got a whole mountain, we got a whole building skyscraper with no, like, it's just floating on thin air. We don't know no story to it. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't want to. I had this thought on the ride home. Oh, the person that made Bitcoin want to hide his identity. I don't feel like that's in man nature to make a thing like Bitcoin and want to hide yourself. You could be like Elon Musk. You could be like, look at Michael Saylor. We got these big dudes and all the money and stuff like he got. He could have his own military if he's worried about that. We got John McAfee. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his own thing. You feel me? He ain't have the pull yet and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Probably slipped up a little bit, but I don't even think that's in man nature to uh want to hide themselves after something creating something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I could be wrong,
In
but
general, I would probably agree. I think the only difference is just activism and not wanting the big banks to want to go.
but look at all the people we have in history that did some ballsy shit, and they made their face be known. You know what I'm saying? Like Eric Snowden. Uh,
Ooh, we
you
should
know,
we got probably got 5 more minutes left or something like that. But we should probably do like a pod of like all these different crazy stories of these people. Because
yeah.
like there's a fun rabbit holes like a lot of crypto developers though, they actually go randomly.
The person that did
So
cat.
makes you wonder. I mean, some of them might legitimately be accidents, but I mean, probability is not in their favor.
See, those crypto bros, they was just chilling. Like they had money and they was Gen Zers or millennials, and they just thought like they thought that they couldn't get their head split. You feel me? Because of like they probably had thought that the government was still on their best interest. You know what I'm saying? Like they probably thought was shit was sweet. But if you own Bitcoin and you created Bitcoin, you have an idea of the Federal Reserve and how low shit could get. You're a dangerous person if you
Yes.
created this shit. You know what I'm saying? You would be able to have private.
And in the middle of all that great conversations, unfortunately, Zoom got them. And as a result, that's the end of the meeting. So, I'm not certain if Angel is going to be coming back, but I thought I'd restart this and just simply say thank you for watching. I hope that you gotten valuable information from this. And like, comment, subscribe, and peace, love, respect. Yeah, I think that's how he signs off, right?